Yo baby, yo, for the next 2 hours I'm rolling in this 5.0, let's go. So now that we have that out of the way, if you're around in the 80s, you'll know all about Vanilla Ice and rolling in his 5.0 and how much that was part of the culture back in the day. Just like this 80s legend, the 5-liter Mustang. So roll back to early 90s, a friend and I were down in New York State going on a ski trip. We were in my buddy's mom's Sunbird and we got pulled over by state police while the trooper was driving a 5-liter Notch. And I thought it was pretty cool. And that was my first experience with the 5.0 Notch. How about yours? What was yours? Did you have an experience? Listen, if you're a Gen Xer like me, you're gonna remember these cars. If you're younger, you know, if you're a millennial, you'll be like, oh, it's a square car, it's slow. You know what? Sometimes having the fastest thing isn't the coolest thing, right? So today we're gonna look at a car that isn't perfect. It's not even really pretty. It is what it is. It's original paint. It's got lots of door dings and character. It's a former drag car. Let's go check it out. You know, back then it was an era of no bells and whistles, right? So you got yourself a V8 motor, slapped it into a small platform, positive rear end. Some of them were autos, some of them were manuals, and obviously were total legends in the 80s and 90s. Everybody wanted one. And you know, to this day, I think these have aged really, really well. Where we live in this part of the world, there really aren't many 5-liter notchbacks left. In fact, you know, you can go a little while in the summer these days and not really see a 5.0. Just not around like they used to be. This one's super dope. I mean, police and interceptor, right? And like these huge, meaty wide tires. So these are 265 50/16s. Back in the day, this was the upgrade size. So they came with a 15-inch 10-hole rim. And then later on they introduced the pony car wheels. This is an old drag car, so it's got some stuff set up for drag racing. And the owner has had it something like 14 years. Excuse all the stuff from my skit. She is an honest survivor. And the owner's kind of torn. Does he leave it alone and just drive it and enjoy it? Or does he fix it up? He's told me one of his kids wants this car, so I don't think it's going anywhere. What do you think? So here's the deal. The owner of the vehicle didn't want to be on camera, and he's a good friend of mine, and I totally get it, and I respect it. But he was kind enough to let us have the car for a couple hours. I'm gonna keep it away from traffic. The old girl likes to overheat a little bit, I've been told, so we're gonna keep an eye on the temperature gauge, but we're gonna take you guys for a ride and see what this old girl's all about. Let's go. Fan switch. So we gotta keep an eye on that water temperature. It is literally hotter than Hades here today, so it's probably 35 degrees where I'm sat right now. There's a bit of a breeze, but we don't want this thing to idle too long, and definitely not in traffic. So who remembers what these were like inside? Man, what a throwback. I hadn't been in one of these in 20 years until today. And what a treat. I mean, really, a total time warp, total time capsule. Anyways, let's not idle here too long. Like I said, it's super hot. Very convenient spot to put your beverages. So he's like, oh, I said, where's the cup holder? He goes, oh, you know, it's kind of in between the seat and the console. I'm like, where? He goes, oh, right there. I'm like, oh, that's a good spot. Oh, this is gonna over fizz. Yep, right on my shirt, but that's okay. It's so hot out, it'll dry up so fast. All right, let's take this bad boy down the road and see what she's got. So you might notice it's got like a ripper shifter kind of deal. So I have been schooled on how to drive this, and kind of took it easy coming over here. Got the fans on. All right, here we go. You know, driving over here from my buddy's place, first impressions. Yeah, it's got lots of squeaks and rattles. It's an honest car, doesn't bullshit whatsoever. It threw a couple of smiles on my face. You know, I got a couple of looks. Just keeping an eye on that temperature gauge. Also the alternator, kind of watch that too, right? These old cars, that's the way they are. Like, it's more involved. It's like the old days, that's for sure. Usually the older they get, the more finicky they are, you know what I mean? So, you know, out of respect to the owner, I'm not going to go too far afield with this car. I'm not going to go too crazy. Keep the old girl cool. But you know what, just the nostalgia factor. The owner kind of describes this as a grumpy old bastard. You know, it's one of those kinds of cars where if you don't pay attention and you don't have a lot of experience with a car like this, well, it'll bite you in the ass really quick, if you know what I'm saying. When I was a younger man, I had an 83 Capri RS 5 liter. My buddy had an 88 LX 5.0. My 83 was a carbureted car, and his was an EFI like this one. Everybody wanted the fuel injected cars when they came out. The transition year was 1986, 4 headlight cars, and then going in the Aero front end for 87. They were all on all the 5 liters at that point were EFI. And that's what people wanted. Quad shock rear end, so there were 4 shock absorbers tying down a live rear axle. But the coolest part, probably, apart from the 5 liter badges, was the tailpipes. Everybody wanted those stainless steel, twin, straight pipes out the back end. These cars weren't fancy. They were kind of understated, but all the car people back then knew exactly what they were, right? These were one of the quickest cars on the street at the time. These were right up there. In fact, with power to weight ratio, they were quicker than comparable Firebirds and Camaros, right? This was kind of the king of the quick car back then. You didn't have the JDM scene like it is today. Sure, you had some Toyota Corolla GTSs rolling around, but everybody wanted a 5 liter Mustang. Even if they were a GM guy, I promise you, they were secretly jealous, right? Now, I kind of moved on from my Capri, and I went into Firebirds. I had 2 GTA Trans Ams, and you know, I never really looked back from GM after that. But even to this day, I appreciate a nice 5 liter. And by nice, I don't necessarily mean choke clean. If I own this car, I probably just sort of clean it up a little bit. I just leave it alone. Mechanically, I just look after it, you know, and then hand it down to my kid. Here you go. You know what's hilarious, kind of driving this? The side view mirrors are ridiculous. They're like the size of a dollar bill if you're from the States, or you know, $5 bill here in Canada. Like, I don't know what you can really see out those mirrors. They're so tiny. You know, looking around the interior here, you know, sure, it's got like a drag race gauge package. But, you know, you're reminded of how basic cars were back then. This bad boy's got crank down windows. I can't even remember the last time I was in a crank down window car, do you? Like, this is friggin' time machine is what it is, really, right? Man, it's hotter than the devil's armpit out here today. Anyways, I just thought I would catch a shady spot, let the car cool down a little bit, and take the opportunity to show you guys under the hood of this 302, this legendary 5-liter motor that Ford sold literally a bazillion of. So let's go check it out. You know what though, I get it. I know why he loves this car. It's pretty freaking cool. So if you've ever owned a Mustang, specifically a 5-liter, and they made them from 1978 right to 1992. If you've ever owned one, please comment below and share your story of your 5-liter. I mean, this car is really responsible for keeping the muscle car, pony car alive, right? Camaros have kind of come and gone, Firebirds are gone, other cars have come and gone, but the Mustang has endured, you know what I mean? It's really endured. I love that my buddy has owned this 14 years, and now he's going to pass it along to his kid. I mean, if that isn't living life to the max, what really is, right? Cheers to that. Oh, this is ginger ale, by the way. It's not booze. So that's going to be a wrap for this episode of Maximum Motors. I would like to say a massive thanks to my friend for allowing me to use the car for a couple hours. You, sir, are a legend. As for DJ Sizzle, I'm pretty sure you all know how he feels about this Mustang, but let us know your thoughts. Comment down below. And don't forget, live life to the max.